Hello aspirants, welcome back to India for IAS. This is Manjunath Mudhod. Topic of this video is Greenium. So this topic falls under GS3 paper. GS3 paper. Within GS3 paper, the subtopic is sustainable development. Sustainable development. So it is an intersection of both economy and environment. So here we can say it is a sustainable development. So this topic is very important with respect to prelims 2025 and upcoming KS prelims. So UPSC, it has a habit of asking questions on such a terms, definition based questions. In the previous year question, it asked question on greenwashing. So it asked question on greenwashing. So in the same way, it may ask in the future a statement based question on greenium. So in that perspective, this topic is very important. So recently, the term Greenium was in news because of the some of the bids in the green bond auctions may be rejected by the center government on the terms of low green premium or low greenium. So because of this, this term greenium was in news. Then coming to this video, in this video we are going to study about what is greenium, what is the premium pricing, then what is the green bonds, then the factors that are responsible for greenium and the benefits of the greenium. So coming to the concept of greenium. So it is a short term for two terms, that is green and premium. So these two terms after combining they will become greenium. So this is how it is being used. Coming to the concept of greenium. So it refers to the premium price that investors are willing to pay for green bonds compared to the conventional bonds. Say for example, there is a conventional bond and then there is a green bond. So what is green bond? Green bonds, they raise the fund for the projects which are environment friendly, to fund the projects which are environment friendly. Whereas the conventional bonds, they raise the investments for the projects which may or may not be environment friendly. So the projects which are environment friendly, they are called as the green projects, and the bonds that are used to raise funds for such projects are called green bonds. So examples for the green projects are solar energy projects, wind energy projects. So these are the few examples for green bonds, green projects, and the bonds which raise the fund for such projects are called as green bonds. And for such bonds, the investors are ready to pay higher premium price compared to the conventional bonds. The reason being, these funds is going to be invested in environment friendly projects. That's why the investors are ready to pay higher premium. So if they are ready to pay higher premium for green projects, then that term is called as greenium. So this greenium, it has become popular with respect to the environment, social and governance aspects of investment strategies. So each and every nation, they are proposing ESG norms, that is environmental norms, social norms and governance norms with respect to investments in any projects. So investments in any projects. India has also ESG norms. So these ESG norms in India are governed by multiple regulations like SEBI, Companies Act, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, like that. So now we will briefly look into what are green bonds, what is their purpose, and who issues the green bonds. So coming to the definition of green bonds, so these green bonds are the debt instruments. They are debt instruments. It means they raise the loan by issuing the bonds. So they are specifically earmarked to raise money for climate and environment related projects. So their main purpose is to invest in climate and environment related projects. Coming to the purpose, they fund the, if we have to look into the purpose, the money raised by issuing the debt instruments, they are used to fund the renewable energy projects, energy efficiency improvement projects, transportation. Clean transportation means electric vehicles, electric buses, then sustainable water management, that means recycling of the municipal waste water and other environmental initiatives. So these are the projects that are being funded using the money raised by the green bonds. Then who are the issuers of these green bonds? Governments, either union government or the state government, municipalities, financial institutions like RBI or banks like SBI, and other corporations like whether it may be Infosys or Adani Green Project Limited, or it may be Tata Motors. Such corporations, they also issue green bonds. So now we will delve in detail into the premium pricing, that is Greenium. So what it is exactly? So Greenium refers to the lower yield that the investors willing to accept for green bonds. So if the green bonds, if they are giving lower yields compared to the conventional bonds, the investors are ready to accept this lower yield compared to the conventional bonds. The reason being, these green bonds, they raise the fund to invest in environment friendly projects. So because of that, the investors, they are ready to forego the higher yields if they have invested in conventional bonds. So these conventional bonds, we can take an example. Conventional bond. Say there are two bonds, both are priced same rupees 100. So one yields an interest rate of 12%, that is conventional bond, and green bond, it yields an interest rate of 8%. So the investors are ready to go for green bonds even though it is giving 4% less return compared to the conventional bonds. The reason being, this green bond, it is being, the fund is being invested in green projects, so that is the reason. So this change in the investor attitude, it is largely driven by the environmental concerns. So nowadays everyone is aware of the environment related issues. So everyone is willing to reduce the consumption of plastic. They are willing to reduce the food wastage. So in the same way, the investors are showing interest in investing in green bonds, even if it is yielding less returns. So now we will briefly look into the factors that influence the greenium. So what are the factors that increase or decrease the greenium in the green bonds? So the first one is investor demand. So with the rise in environment related awareness, the investors are willing to invest in green bonds. So this demand, increase in the demand, it is increasing the greenium. So there is an increase in the green premium. So because of the awareness related to environment related concerns. So in the same way, the institutional investors like pension funds and insurance companies, they are also investing in the environment related projects such as green bonds and green projects. So the second one is regulatory support. So all over the world, various countries, they are establishing regulatory methods or regulatory bodies in order to promote the green finance through incentives and frameworks. So if any institute or if any company, if it is investing in green project via green finance, then they will receive tax benefits, they will receive incentives. So such kinds of measures are being taken by countries all over the world. So policies like the European Union's Green Bond Standard. So this provides the clarity. It is a model or benchmark regulatory standard with respect to the regulatory support concerned with the green bond issuance. So then coming to the certification standards. So then there are certification and standards with respect to the green bonds and greenium. So the certification by recognized bodies like Climate Bond Initiative, this enhances the credibility and it attracts the investments towards the green bonds. Say for example, there are two green bonds, A and B. So one is certified by Climate Bonds Initiative, another one is not certified. So in this case, the bond B, which is certified by some standard bodies or recognized bodies, so this will attract more investors compared to the one which is not certified by the standard bodies. So here this certification and standards, it plays a very major role in influencing the greenium. Then coming to the last point, that is market dynamics. So market dynamics is nothing but supply and demand. So if there is a less supply of the green bonds and then there is a more demand, then ultimately the greenium will increase. So it will increase. If there is a less demand and more supply, then the greenium will decrease. So that is the trend. So now we will look into the benefits of the greenium. from the perspective of issuers and from the perspective of investors. So for issuers, this green bond and greenium, it helps them to raise the capital at a low cost. They can finance the projects, their green projects, at a lower interest rates. The reason being these green bonds, they are come up with a low interest rate. So compared to the conventional bonds, low interest rates, then if they are coming with the low interest rates, even though the investors are willing to invest in green bonds, the reason being they are motivated by environmental concerns. So this helps the issuers to raise the fund at a low cost, that is at low interest rates. So this also enhances their reputation. The reason being, so if they are willing to invest in green projects, it increases their corporate image and also stakeholder relations. So by issuing green bonds, they can diversify their investors base. So there are investors, both institutional investors and retail investors, who are mainly willing or interested to invest in projects which are being green projects, or the bonds which are going to invest in green projects. So this greenium, it helps the investors, this attract the investors who are willing to invest in sustainability related projects. Then coming to the benefits for the investors. So from the investors perspective, the fund is being invested in climate and environment related projects. So this helps the investors to achieve their environment related goals. So if they are investing in green projects, so they can achieve their environment related goals. Then it also helps them in portfolio diversification. Portfolio diversification, it means many of the times the investors, they are investing in conventional bonds and conventional equity or shares. So these conventional bonds and equity shares, they are into not into the green projects. So by investing in ESG related green bonds, they can diversify their investment portfolio. So this will help them in achieving some taxation related benefits. Then the last benefit for the investors is it has a lower risk. The green projects, they have lower risk compared to the conventional projects. The reason being, the green project, they are going to be invested in sustainable development projects. So because of that, they have low risk in long term compared to the conventional bonds. So these are the benefits associated with greenium. So now we will look into the challenges or criticisms associated with green bonding or greenium. So the first one being greenwashing. Greenwashing means it is a act of making false or misleading statements about the environmental benefits of a product or a practice. Say there is a car tire. So the company claims that the car tire is being produced, this product, it is being produced using environmentally safe production methods or processes. So it is claiming it is produced through environmentally safe processes, whereas in reality it is not. So such a false claims are termed as greenwashing, whether it may be product or whether it may be process or whether it may be any practice. So such things which are false, it means which are not true to the environmental concerns, they are called as greenwashing. So there is a concern with respect to green bonds and greenium that the companies or the institutes, they may misrepresent the environmental benefits by raising the fund for projects which are not actually green projects. So that is one of the concern. The second one is market maturity. The green bond market is still developing in India and all over the world, and it has a limited liquidity compared to the conventional bonds. It means if anybody wants to sell conventional bonds, the purchasers are ready to purchase conventional bonds, whereas if anybody wants to sell green bonds, there are very less purchasers. So anybody, hardly few people are willing to purchase green bonds. So because of that, there is a limited liquidity. So there is a limited liquidity with respect to green bonds. So for this, in order to increase the liquidity, Standardization has to be done with respect to green bonds, and the government and other major corporates, they have to increase the issuance of the green bonds so that it will increase the investor confidence. Then they will start purchasing the green bonds. Then the third challenge is pricing complexity. So there is a lot of complexity involved in what is green with respect to any project. So how this green should be labeled and what should be the pricing mechanism. So what is green? So if there is any project, so it is saving environment, or it is doing positive, or it is reducing the environmental harms or environmental pollution or something like that. So quantifying that itself is very difficult. So then labeling also becomes difficult. Then with respect to that, pricing of the bond also becomes difficult. So this is one of the complexity involved in greenium. So this greenium, it also varies with respect to markets. So in European market, the greenium is different. In Indian market, the greenium is, or green bonds, pricing of green bonds is different. So there are variations in different markets. Then the cross country comparison of the pricing also becomes difficult. So this is all about greenium, its features, factors that determine greenium, benefits, challenges. Based on the topic greenium, here we have provided one prelims practice question. Go through the question and comment your answer. The answer and detailed explanation for this question is available in the PDF handout, which you can download by joining our Telegram channel. So that PDF handout also contains the detailed notes of this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.